Good morning. Good morning. Another great and amazing Saturday morning. Take that wonderful stretch, open up that mind, and let's fill it with some knowledge and information. I have Maine Simon on here. I got to tell you, I have been watching this man, and when I say he has the biggest heart to go out there and help everybody, and y'all need that credit information and credit help. He is that credit guru to help you learn how to leverage your credit and yourself versus digging in your pocket for that money and breaking bread all the time. So welcome to PR Connections. Maine, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you inviting me onto the show. And I always love what you do and I watch what you do as well. You're just such an amazing person, great spirit, and really have like-minded intellectual thoughts like myself as well. So I salute you, Queen.
Thank you so much, King. Love the appreciation. It just makes me want to get out there and just keep pushing harder and harder because you get those moments where it gets a little frustrating because the traction isn't doing what you want it to do or something is not going right. But this has actually been amazing experience for me. It's not moving slow. My biggest thing is I get guests. I'm getting guests just coming in and just hitting me up. So that's been like really, really great. But definitely want to make sure I'm hitting a lot of platforms for you guys because I don't want you on here just to be on here. I want everybody to know you here.
No,
So
definitely. That's
yeah, go ahead
important.
and take
Spread
it.
the message.
Yeah, take it, tell it. Go ahead and you got it. Take it.
Absolutely. So just a little bit about myself. My name is Maine Simon. I am a financial literacy specialist, and I help people in the matters of personal finance build, organize, and protect their credit. Due to the state of the pandemic, it left so many people debt-ridden and also without jobs and unemployed. So what we want to do here is actually educate people on the matters of personal finance, how to get their buying power back, and also how to create generational wealth for their children. So that's important to me. I saw it as, prior to this, I was doing nightclub promotions. Some people may know me for that. And then also hosting at the Palms Casino. And once I left the casino business, I went independent and I continue to promote, but I wanted to be a part of the solution and not just see people, out having a good time. And there's nothing wrong with having a good time and having fun, but it's also good to manage your finances. And when I saw the platform, which I'm a part of, I end up saving over $36,000 through leveraging just the budgeting tool. I was eating out every day, spending $100 a day eating out. And, I was really working harder and not working smarter. I didn't have enough time to spend with my child and spend with my family. So it's good to, work hard and get money, but it's also good to be family oriented. And, that's what I saw with the platform. And I'm excited to be a part of it and just continue to help people. So that's my goal. When I got started, my score was a 473. It went from a 473 to 706 through leveraging our services and just knowledge that I knew. And I was able to then get funding, and I ended up opening up my own business. So it's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing. That is like totally amazing. I love what you do, and I see you on there on Facebook all the time. Hey, coming with the next 10 women, 50 moms. You're out there, you're really pushing, and you want to make things right. Hit me up. I help you. And you don't see a lot of that, right? Like everybody has this dollar sign on every single thing, but there's information that you can just give a person and let them just do the work. Right. And allow them to go and do what they need to do and versus doing it for them. If they want to do it for them, that's fine. Go ahead and pay. But just to drop some nuggets, just to help somebody out, that goes a long way.
And that's exactly what I'm all about. I'm not commission driven. I'm more mission driven. And my mission is to push the culture forward and educate people solely. Like the money, that's the byproduct from serving people. My mentor always says, service to many leads to greatness. So I just want to continue to serve as many people as I can. And I use God as my tool to guide me in the direction of good faith and do things with righteous intentions. So as long as my heart is good and I know I'm giving people quality information, then they can benefit from that and they can educate the next person. So I think it's important to create a culture of each one teach one, not just somebody hoarding all of the knowledge and all of the wealth. No, share that knowledge with someone else and be able to help someone else. I think that's imperative in longevity and us building as a culture and just as people.
Right. Like I'm always giving nuggets on my page. I stay dropping nuggets. I'm actually getting ready to get even more into doing that with some more videos because, of course, everybody's not reading as much as they're watching. Right. So now everybody's being trained to watch instead of reading. And like I tell some of my some people I meet, entrepreneurs, think about your marketing and your advertising because you can't just keep writing these really long scripted things. They want to see something visual. They want the information. They want to get it quick and they're over it. Now they're moving to the next one, with TikTok and the way that is. So I know what you do in your marketing and what your messages is like a really amazing message. The people need to understand credit. They need to understand not only your credit score, but your credit report, right? So, and what it can do and not do for you. But give us a little bit about that, like how getting the word out there, one, but I really want to, I'm going to dive right into credit after that, but I want to just make sure that we're getting your word out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the misconceptions with credit is that it cannot be repaired and certain items won't be able to come off the report, such as student loans, late payments, evictions, child support. I've seen it all, and we've helped people all across the country help them in order to get those negative items disputed to be deleted off their report. Now, the main factor you want to keep in mind is payment history. That accounts for 35% of your score. So you want to make sure that you're paying your bills consistently on time. A tip that you may want to utilize is to double up on your payments. You want to make one payment on the statement date, like 3 days before the statement date. And then you want to make a payment right before the reporting date, right before TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian reports. This is going to trick the algorithm to have your score be boosted up higher. Also, you want to keep your amounts owed low. So amounts owed accounts for 30%. So you want to make sure that that percentage that you're using on your credit cards, let's say you have a $1,000 limit, you want to keep your limit below $100. So that way you have the higher score, and then have a happy mix of both installment loan and also revolving credit, which is that credit card. That'll help your score. A lot of times people have one or the other, but they don't have both. They don't have credit cards, or they may not have something that they're paying on, which is called installment loans for a duration of time. And that lowers their score as well. So you want to have a good amount of accounts, about 15 accounts, and a happy mix, and just continue to pay your bills on time. Don't open up any new credit. That's going to help you in order to leverage your score and maintain a consistent amount of history. A lot of times people go applying for things and that drops your score. It also lowers your length of history. So it's very important for people to know those things. And that's not something that we were taught growing up. I don't know about you, Desiree, but myself, growing up in the inner city in New York, I wasn't taught financial literacy, but I was fortunate enough to work a job when I was 13, working at the library, and I grew a love for books and finances. So I've read hundreds and hundreds of books, and I think that's what's important to people, to educate themselves. I also have a book coming out later on this month that I'm going to be dropping. So stay tuned for that. Share the information a little later.
Okay, so then that's so you got your book out. So that's part of your advertising and marketing. I know you're on Facebook, Instagram.
Yes.
So you're in Clubhouse also?
I am on Clubhouse as well. For anyone that's out there that's business owners that's up and coming, get on as many platforms as possible. And you also want to be consistent in your posting regimen. A lot of times people, they post once, they post their business once, and that's it. People need to see social proof that your business is working and they want to see it consistently throughout the day. A lot of times people post once, or they may not post on their feed and also on their stories. You want to have a combination of both as well. It's kind of like your credit score. It's different factors to having success in your business. So that's one of the key things.
So I'm gonna throw this out there just to add to it for just to clarify what he just said on that. Basically, it scientifically takes 6 to 7 times for somebody to see something before they actually act on that advertisement. If they don't see it for 6 or 7 times, they're not going to act on it. And that's scientifically, that's just proven. Majority people are just like that. So what he's saying, if you post once and then you don't post again, and then you're waiting, and then you post a second time, and then you're inconsistent, or you post once and then you wait 2 months and then you post again 2 months later, your 6 to 7 times have just started over again. And I know I've heard, you're going to hear everybody is right? So they say post once, they say post, 50% of the time, 2 or 3 times a week. Some say post every single day. Some say post 3 to 4 times a day. So you really got to figure out what you can totally commit to stay consistent. So if you want to post every day, that's fine, as long as you can keep up with it. If you only post 2 or 3 times a day, that's fine, as long as you keep up with it. Just whatever you can keep up with for your schedule is the right way to do it. Because you got to stay, like he said, consistent. Like these are every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. You're going to see this every Saturday, 8 a.m. We're right here. Staying consistent. The flyers are consistent. So, keep your marketing, your advertising there. And like he said, be as many platforms as you can to get your word out there. And definitely like we're doing right here is collaborating and get with people who are in business, or like this one. I love to talk to everybody and anybody, because with me talking about awareness and mindset, I'm going to talk to you about the awareness of, like he said, your habits. There's paradigms that you have, and you have set habits already in your brain that teaches you that money is right or wrong. And you're following those habits, regardless if you consciously or unconsciously do it. You're following those habits. You're going to have to go in if you want to. He can clean your credit score up and get you, pop in on your report. But if your mindset is not there, you will not maintain that score. So you definitely have to have the right mindset. This is why I say it is so important. I could talk to any and every single person, no matter what business they're in, or even if they're not in the business, they're just homemakers or entrepreneurs, but there's always a mindset to go with that position, whatever you're trying to get. So definitely work on your mindset, work on the habits of saying that money is good, work on some money chants or money mantras. You can find them on YouTube.
Affirmations.
Affirmations, but make sure that affirmations are believable, which means that you're going back into your past to see what you truly feel about money. Like, do you say money doesn't grow on trees, or that's too expensive? I mean, all of those words are deflecting money from you. It's creating that negative credit score, because you're doing a lot of things that you should not be doing with your credit because of how you feel about money mentally. So have the right mindset so that everything that Maine is going to teach you will maintain throughout your life, that you could teach to your children, not something that works right now because he cleaned it up and now you got a 750. He walks away from you, and 2 years later, you're back down to a 5 something. You don't want to do that.
And that's the thing. Most people, their habits are perpetual. And these are habits that we've created even since we were children. A lot of times people have the mindset of YOLO, right? You only live once, right? Let's spend this money, or, I'll get it right back. That's what we're taught. But it keeps us in a poverty mindset. And there's 2 types of mindsets you can have. You can have a fixed mindset, and then you can have a growth mindset. What I preach and what I teach is having a growth mindset, consistently putting positive thoughts into your head, not entertaining anything that's fixed. If it's fixed, it's not going to allow you to grow, and it's going to create complacency. So you want to stay away from individuals and people that are not vibrating at a high vibration. This is going to keep your frequency lower, and you're going to get a lower result, and you attract where your frequency level is. So it's so important to vibrate on a high frequency and be around like-minded individuals to keep you sharp and still sharp and still. That's why we're around each other, right, Desiree? I love
Right.
what you're doing. I see how you constantly elevate. You're constantly pushing the needle. New photo shoots. You're constantly reaching out to people, and that's work ethic. Most people they want to sit and soak in what they're doing, or they don't want to hire help. It's so important. If you don't know something, hire a mentor. Get someone that's been doing something a little bit longer than you have to educate you. This is going to cut your learning curve and save you a lot of money. So I think it's important for people to, have mentors, have people in their corner. Don't try to do everything yourself, because when people are in business for themselves, they feel like it costs a lot of money to hire help. But think about how much money it's going to cost you down the line if you don't have the right people in your circle and the right people giving you information and guidance throughout the process. So I'm big on that. So
Definitely, I'm going to always touch back on what they say to give it to you another way. But who you're around, the top 5 people you're around basically tell a big story about who you are. So if you don't like the people who you're around or they irritate you, step back a little bit and find out who you are. Why do they irritate you? Because some like attracts like. Like you said, still sharp and steel, like attracts like. So something drew you to those people that are around you. And with that limited mindset, as Woody was talking about, having that limited mindset, you can't do the affirmations are not going to work. Okay. If you have a limited mindset, a lot of things, and you say these affirmations, you think that this, sprinkling pixie dust on some words is going to magically appear and manifest in your life. It doesn't. You really got to believe, and you have to have the habits of action and proof as a result. So those affirmations work for you and you see them working for you. When they don't work, it's not because us as coaches said, say affirmations and vibrate high. And you're saying, okay, I don't know how to do that. You're right, because you have to learn it. Right. That's why I'm here. You learn those things to vibrate higher. You can be around people who are multimillionaires and you can want to be a millionaire so bad, but them in their vibration and where your true vibration is, eventually you're going to fall off because you can't keep your vibration that high because you haven't learned how to vibrate that high on a consistent basis. Just being around people who vibrate high and speak highly does not mean you're automatically going to vibrate high. It means that you're going to have to do some self-work, personal development work, get into the mindset and be aware, self-awareness work to make sure that you're able to keep up with the vibration, because it can get real uncomfortable vibrating on a level higher than where you're normally used to vibrating. And that comes from how you think. It is a mindset. So if you are looking at them with a slight enviousness to you, that is the wrong vibration. You're going to start actually lashing out. And as you're lashing out to them, they're going to cut you off. So then you failed. They didn't fail you. You failed yourself. So I tell everybody, it goes back to you. You have to be accountable for what you do and what you bring to the table. Money management is big. Like, it is a game. It is. That's why they have a Monopoly game. They have not Thinking Grow Rich, but Robert Kiyosaki with his
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. You have the game to that. You have 2 parts to that game. One is a board game. The other one is actually just as an audio game. And you have to listen and make the right investment choices. So he teaches you that it is a game. Money is a game. And you got to learn how to play the game. And in the way you learn how to play the game is get people like Maine who play the game consistently and can teach you this part of the game. But just understand that money starts with the mindset.
It definitely does. It definitely does. It's super mindset driven. I think a lot of times too, when you're dealing with individuals that vibrate on a lower frequency, a lot of it has to do with, childhood trauma that people haven't faced, so that's why it's harder for them to personally develop, because they're holding on to so much traumatic baggage. And I think mental health is definitely an issue that people need to really touch on. And I think it hinders us from moving forward a lot of times. Sometimes people hear the voices in their head and that kind of holds them back. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. I had family members and friends that was dealing with mental health. And you could touch on that Desiree, just a little bit like how mental health correlates with business. And I know you probably met somebody or know something about that a little bit more.
Mental health and business goes hand in hand. Wherever your mind is, your business will go. Wherever your mind is, your life overall is going to go, right? So when we're talking about business and mental health, when you are not in alignment mentally with not only your frequency, but the direction and the vision and mission that you have for that business, you're going to keep throwing it off with your energy. You can even be, a VP or a president. You could actually have a very big company and have like 1,000 employees. That doesn't mean that you're successful. It's a consistent thing. You have to stay working on your mind to keep growing the business. If you are staying in a stagnant mindset, everything else is going to follow. Your whole leadership team is going to follow that. And it's going to trickle all the way down to your employees, who are the front face for your customers and clients, which that is not what you want. So whatever your mindset is and your focus is, if you have mental issues and disabilities, that is going to come out from time to time in your day when you get stressed out, when you get frustrated, when you get too much pressure on you of having to answer those questions. Being an entrepreneur, it takes a lot of resilience because you're asked to wear multiple hats. You're asked to put out multiple fires. You're asked to do, many things for many different people at the exact same time. Right? I've been there. So I know what that feels like, and everybody can't handle it. So your mental health is definitely key to being able to handle the stresses and all of that frustration and pressure that entrepreneurship brings to you. So, and that goes hand in hand. So let's say I'm having a very stressful day because I'm emotionally all over the place. So we're just going to call it what it is. Mental health is you haven't learned how to control your emotions. So your emotions start to take control of you. And as you are thinking of, you can have sporadic thoughts of something in your past, like Maine was talking about, and that will trigger a behavior from that emotion that you felt then and create this negative emotion and negative energy around you at that workplace. So you got to understand you're not consciously paying attention to yourself because of lack of self-awareness. So even with the mental disability, you can feel when it's coming on. Like you can feel that, like it's almost like vomiting. I know that's kind of gross, but you feel you have changes. Your saliva gets thin. You feel a little woozy, weak. You can start to sweat. These are all warning signs that something is about to erupt. Those are the same thing with your emotions. You feel it coming on. You feel it coming up. Be self-aware to understand when you're about to have it. Go walk away, take a you time self. I don't care if you're in the middle of a meeting because it's self-care. Take a you time right then and go breathe before you have that anxiety attack, before you get frustrated or blow up at somebody. Go and sit somewhere, close your eyes, do a quick light meditation and just do some breathing techniques. There are multiple techniques out there to learn how to breathe. You can get it on YouTube. Just search breathing techniques. Learn how to breathe correctly and go and breathe. Take in some just energy that is calming. Shut your mind down. Stop thinking. Whatever you're thinking of, tell yourself, I'm still, I'm quiet, I'm peace. It's not happening. I can control this. I have this. I am in control. Stop allowing your ego and your that part of you to be in control and allow your spiritual self to be in control, because you can center yourself and align yourself. You can bring that down, but it takes you to do it. Nobody can teach you how to do it. It's going to take you to feel and teach yourself about yourself, which people don't understand. That's a learning experience for yourself. Learn how to bring yourself down. Learn how it feels to feel that energy coming. Learn how to deflect that and make it positive, not negative. Learn how to get better yourself. People I can't stress this enough. Coaches and therapists, everybody out there is only here to guide you to understanding you better. We don't have a cure or just an instruction of this is what you do and it magically happens. It takes you practicing it on a
Mm.
consistent basis. Once again, learning is consistent, being a boss is consistent, learning yourself and understanding yourself, growth is consistent. It doesn't stop. So understand with that, just because you learned something, now the business is doing amazing, you learned it, you landed some humongous deals, you gotten, out there, your name is out there, and now everything is coming at you. Guess what? You just added another pressure and stressor on you. Yes, it's a celebration, but as soon as that celebration is over, which it will be, it doesn't last forever. Once the celebration is over, now you're back to the pressure of where you just gone. And every time you go up a level, you go up a level in pressure and stress. So if you don't go up a level on knowledge and understanding yourself and staying consistent in that, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. And that's really the bottom line.
No, you're right. New levels, new devils. And it's not saying that anyone's a devil, but you have to understand everything that comes with the responsibility of being put in a position of power and basically helping people. And it's not, to me, what I see, Desiree, is so many people, they're like, oh, I'm a boss. I'm a boss. I'm a boss. No, God is the boss. All right. God is the boss first. Let's get it clear. And you got to be mindful of what you're investing in, how you're investing in. You want to invest in low risk assets or low risk businesses that have a high yield, a high return. I see so many people, they go out, they get a little bit of money, they go out, get a huge amount of overhead put on themselves, and then they still have to get product, and then they still have to have operational costs. They still have to have Wi-Fi, different things like that. Those are mistakes I made when I was younger. My partners and I, we opened up a clothing store on the strip, and my overhead was over $19,000 just for rent. That's not including electricity and everything like that. So I learned a lot through those times in my 20s. I was fortunate to have those hard life lessons, and I learned how to budget, effectively throughout my life. But, I'm just blessed to be able to educate people on how to build your organization correctly, how to apply for business credit, how to structure yourself to where your credit allows you to leverage to create more assets. And I'm going to talk a lot about that in my book. It's called Got Credit, by the way. It's going to be out later on this month. So I'm excited about that. Man.
Congratulations, big time, big ups. Because like they say, it starts with being an author. Then you get your coaching platform. I am going to be having some in-person events out here. I definitely would love to have you there as an in-person speaker and just rocking the house with me. And I want to get into business credit, right? I'm very much in love. I have a passion for business. I have a background as a project manager in construction over the last 19 years of my life. That's been the bulk of my life as a project manager in construction. And with that, that's everything. I learned that is everything about being an entrepreneur. So if you can be a project manager, you can definitely be an entrepreneur, because project management, you're wearing multiple hats. You got multiple things going on. You have to build teams. You have to watch that budget. You have to write those contracts. You have to understand what to look for, the ins and the outs, what is going to hurt me, what is going to help me, making sure that whoever you're bringing into your team is going to be a liable asset and not a liable liability. There's a big difference, And I really want to get into, I'm going to use a lot of credit terms while we're talking. We're talking about mindset and everything, and everybody, trust and believe me, all of everything we're talking about goes into what he does, because this is part of the coaching and training aspect of learning your credit and building your credit and learning your report and being more money savvy and financially secure, because you have a financial literacy and not an illiteracy. So this is the complete understanding from the foundation up. It's not like, okay, do this, make sure you're looking at your credit report, make sure you pay this bill on time. You pretty much know these things. You know this. It's not that we're not telling you something you don't know, but we're going to go deeper into things that you don't know, which is your brain, your mindset. Because if you're still making all the wrong choices financially, it's not because everything doesn't work. It's because you haven't gained the right knowledge to apply the information they're giving you to make it work for you. It still goes back to you gaining knowledge. There's courses out there there's Coursera, there's Shaw Academy, there's multiple online courses that can teach you finance. You can go and sit in those classes as an auditor. I tell my clients all the time, go sit in as an auditor and get the information for free. It's not like you got to pay all this money or say, I don't have the money. Okay, well, let's scratch the money. You do it for free. Well, I don't have the time. Well, you don't if you say that.
I think most people need an accountability partner. A lot of times people, it could be right in front of your face. They said if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book. Right? Because most people won't read, they won't take accountability for themselves and their present situation. I think that it's imperative for people to do self-evaluations on a daily basis and also have a schedule, have a calendar. What's on your schedule? That's how you could determine how your income is going to look. What's the schedule like? Meetings make money, right? If you don't have any meetings, that's MMM. You got to have meetings set up. You got to have things lined up for you. You should never leave a meeting without setting up another meeting. A mentor of mine, her nail tech does her nails, right? And every time she does her nails, she's setting up a follow-up appointment. This is how you have to be when you're doing serious business. Also, so many people fail when it comes to paying taxes and really structuring their taxes on how to set up the proper business that's going to work for them. Do you want to set up an LLC? See, a lot of times people hear the term LLC, everybody thinks LLC, or do you need an S corp? Or do you need a sole proprietorship? Or do you need a partnership? You have to understand what is the end goal in mind and get with a team, a coach that's going to help you evaluate what field you're in and what's the best for you in a long-term plan. And that's why it's so important to have an accountability partner.
Yes, and please, people, stop going out there and grabbing Facebook and feeling like it's the end all be all and asking your questions in all these groups and getting these multiple informations. Because I did see one and I just kind of looked and I shook my head because the question was, I have multiple business partners, which are managing members. Mm-hmm. And they said, how do I do my LLC? And the girl said, well, if you have multiple people, you do an LLP. And I'm like, no, LLP is for professionals, doctors, lawyers, things that where you went and got a certification. So you're not always getting the right information because you want to take a shortcut. And go and ask everybody on Facebook. No, go and find someone who can give you the correct information because everybody knows everything. They know everything. They know it, and it's correct. It is 100%.
Everybody's an expert nowadays,
And that is not the case. I was going to do that, and I was like, okay, I'll do the licenses, the LLCs for them, and then there's a couple of glitches I ran into that I was like, oops, I didn't know that because it takes experience going through it, right? But luckily, it was my a best friend, a sister of mine, and we went through it together, and I gave her some money back for the mistake. But you got to understand that you're going to make some mistakes in the beginning, but you have to learn along the way. But you don't want to keep paying for those mistakes either because they can become costly when you become an entrepreneur. And a lot of entrepreneurs fail because they make money mistakes. And that's the lack of knowledge and understanding of money, one, and the lack of and understanding of self, two. So because they don't understand themselves, they don't have no goals. They don't know what they're doing. All they know is I got an LLC. I went to, Amazon or wherever and got these clothes. And now I got this business and now everything is Alibaba. And I'm sitting there looking like, first of all, you need to look at your overhead versus your profits. You need to look at your quality for your customers and your clients. There's multiple things you need to look at prior to just jumping in and saying, I like this. First of all, if you start off a business and you go buy a lot of clothes that you like, you already messed up. You don't go get what you like. You go get what your customer likes because you're serving them. You're not serving yourself. You're not shopping for your closet. You're shopping for theirs. You need to do the research, find out what's popular. What are they wearing? What's the trend? What is really going on, whether you like it or not? So, and I've heard a lot of, people on there, they talk about, they go and buy the stuff that they like, and then they wonder why they can't push the product. You can't push the product because people don't like what you like. You got a small percentage of people who like what you like. But what is the mass saying? The masses are speaking all the time. And if you do the research, you can understand what the masses want and actually build a business of things that people want, because that's the first key of building a business. You solve a problem. What are you solving? What are you doing with this? How are you helping them? Are you looking at what credit you can build, so then that way you can stop pulling your money out of your pocket? Did you set yourself up with good credit and a stability, a financial stability prior to opening up the business? Or did you get a lump sum check, and then since you're still financially illiterate on a lot of areas, you actually took that whole check and blew it all into getting a storefront, putting in the material in there, going and getting product? You had to go get the register. You got to get a POS system. There's a lot of things. You got to get a storefront header. You have to get, there's a lot of things that goes into just
licenses,
insurance, and electricity. You got to go get those utilities. I mean, there's a lot of overhead right off top. Yes, you got a lump sum, but did you look at the money you have compared to what you want to build and the time it's going to take you to get to the money you want? Like, how much money are you looking to get? And are you going to spend like $20,000? I know somebody else spending $20,000 for their storefront and they're not making that $20,000. It's coming out of pocket. Mm-hmm. So are you able to run a business that's going to give you a return? Because if it's not a return, it's a liability, because assets give you a return, liabilities take from you. So cars, houses, all these things are liabilities. Clothes are liabilities. Everybody wants to flash and be flashy and drive these nice cars and nice houses and all these things. Those are all liabilities. What assets do you have? Right? And credit is probably the easiest, most attainable asset for anybody. Your credit is like the easiest asset for you to get, because that only requires you to have the right mindset, make the right choices along your path, and your credit score will grow. And now you're able to make solid, conscious decisions on what to do with that credit, that leverage. You gain leverages. Go out and be a part of some banking community. Go and learn them. Go understand those underwriters and go be their friends. Go have a relationship with them. They're going to go be with Maine. Go be with the money people. You want some money? Go be around people with financial advisors. Go be around some money people, right? They're going to teach you the money game. And as you're learning the money game, you're going to be able to be more financially secure. So one thing I do want to ask, I know that I've been seeing this on here, so I want to make sure I address this, because I've seen this on Facebook. And, I do a lot of research on Facebook because people ask a lot of questions. It makes it really, really easy to get information that you want to ask. One is people are having this confusion with the credit score versus a credit report. How can my credit score be 800 and I'm still getting denied for houses and cars and things of that nature?
No, that's a great question. A lot of times when people have a good credit score, but they're getting denied, it's based on the not providing the proper verification of income, and not having the proper income could cause you to get denied for that loan. So let's say that, all right, let's do numbers now, right? So let's say the average, I'm a numbers person, right? I'm always crunching numbers. So let's say the average medium home in America, right, which is 260. The average medium home. That means you qualify for roughly around 1,700 with your PMI and everything included into your mortgage, right? So
now what's PMI? For most of them, I don't know that.
Oh, that's property mortgage insurance. Like, so you have to have insurance on your particular property as well. But now the reason why a lot of times people don't qualify is because your income may say, okay, you make $3,000 a month, right? You maybe make $36,000 a year, right? And you're looking to get into a home that's 260. So that particular person won't qualify, even if they have a good score, because the way the banks look at it is it's too much house. So rule of thumb, when you're going house shopping, you want to make sure that you make at least 3 times the mortgage. So if that mortgage on the average medium home is 1,700, you want to make roughly around 41, 42 to be on the safe side. So that way you could qualify for that particular home. And they count all other forms of income, not just your earned income from working your job. Also, if you have assets, a lot of times when businesses fail, when people have 800 credit scores, they don't have W-2s. right? So they go in there, they want to get the mortgage, they want to get the loan, but they haven't done you need your W-2s for the last 2 years. And so many people write so much things off. So if you're working and you're independent and you're a W-9 to where you own your own business and you're filing taxes and everything like that, most people write so much things off, they don't qualify for a home. So if you made 100,000 last year, Desiree, example, and you wrote off 70,000. Now, when you go to buy the home, they looking at you like, hey, you only qualify for 30,000. So you're gonna have to qualify for something that's about 150, 180 when all said and done. So you got to be mindful. You have to pay the government taxes. That's why taxes is very important in businesses. And I think a lot of times people forget about paying Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam wants his money as well, and you have to factor that in. Also, so let's say you're an 800 score and you go to qualify. What kind of 800 are you? Do you have at least 10 to 15 accounts? Or are you a baby? It's what we call in the credit industry a baby 800, to where you only have 2 accounts. So you haven't proven your credit worthiness yet. So it takes that time to build by having that payment history, like I said. And you could also get some AUs, which is authorized user accounts, and piggyback off someone else's good credit. However, the bank still wants to see that you have primary trade lines. So we have a program that's called Credit My Rent, where you're allowed to leverage your actual rental history that you pay on monthly. It's already your biggest expense. Why not leverage that and actually use that to create a good primary account? So it's different ways. That's why everybody's strategy is different. So, it depends on the person. But what I do actively is create an action plan, which with each person that I talk to. I don't just, do a one size fits all, because everybody's situation is different. So it's important to tailor that to each individual person.
Yes, and I hope y'all heard him, right? Because don't get it, because I see a lot of information out there, and I am just here to find professionals to come on here and give y'all the real, to tell you that this is not always the right way. There's a lot of different ways, and just because you see it on social media on some platform does not mean that it's actually correct. I do my research, as far as people that I bring on every single show. I am looking at them and I'm doing the research. So I'm not just going to bring somebody who just started last week and they feel like they're amazing and they're great at it. No, we're going to bring somebody on here with some experience. And if they're only been, a week, I'm sure they have something to bring to the table and talk about, but we're going to talk about that. We ain't going to talk about the business. But, he's telling you basically, you can go and get these amazing credit scores and get these amazing PPP loans and whatever else, and you feel like that you would be able to go out there and get everything. If you go get a car before you go buy a house, you're not going to get the house. There's an order that this goes on, which means I keep saying you better learn the money game. You have to go buy the house first, and then you can go buy the car and all these other little things. Don't go open up a new credit line with a credit card. Don't go and go finance some furniture. Don't go and finance no car. Don't go do anything else. If you want a house, focus on the house first. Go get the house first. Because if you do anything else before you get the house, you're not going to get that house. Just saying. Another thing that he was saying, credit history. Even if you have bad credit, they will go with somebody with bad credit than with no credit history. They will give it to that person with bad credit. So bad credit does have that little niche, the little nuance, but you got to still make sure that the credit that you have on your report, you've had it for some time, right? Whether it's good or bad, or you might have missed a couple of payments, or you got laid off, or something happened and you had like 4 or 5 months that you didn't pay and you got it back on track, whatever. Student loans, there's no reason for that because they got deferrence. You can do that, and you don't even have to worry about being on time or late, because they're going to make sure they always clock you in on time. But if you don't have a history or longevity in some accounts that you have on your credit report, they're not getting ready to mess with you, because what you're telling them is you don't know how to manage money, or you're new at managing money. You're new at the money game, so we can't trust you just yet. Get some credit. Even if you got a repo that's been on there for 8 years, that's telling a story because, well, it can't be on there for 8 years because it fall off after 7 for most times. But let's say it's going to
Unless that's a misconception as well.
It is, because I was going to hit that. Unless they contacted you on that 6 year, 6.5 years, and you responded back, you just gave them a whole new 7 years all over again. So now you just started it. Look, if there's anything on your credit that is more than a year old and you haven't paid it, let it ride. Just leave it there, or you're going to start it over. And if you pay it off, it's not going to increase your credit score by that much. You're going and getting old stuff on your credit and paying it off and then thinking your credit score is going to boost up. And some people are telling you that is not it. That's not the case. It's not the story. When you get, like he said earlier, credit cards and you're paying them, I actually mistakenly did this. Nobody told me. I just figured, I'm going to pay this card off and I'm going to give them this amount of money. I made sure it stayed under 30%. And I gave them some money, within 2 weeks, and I accidentally paid it again. But I went on a pay frenzy. I was just paying and paying and paying. And then I started looking at my credit score, and then they ended up calling me because I went from a $250 secured credit card to a $2,000 unsecured credit card because of that very reason in 6 months. Like, it does not take a long time. It doesn't take forever. You can get your credit score. My credit score went up 80 points just by doing that. 80 points. You also have, if you even just go Google credit builder options or things to do. What can you do to build your credit? There's credit builder accounts, credit builder people out there that help you actually build credit, getting CDs, and the bank will front you the money for the CD, put it into a dummy account. You pay them every single month. And once it matures, the CD matures, because it's kind of like a backwards. Usually you put the money in for the CD and then you just wait for it to mature and get the interest off of it. This way, they're allowing you to get the CD on a dummy account, pay on it till you pay the amount that was in that account. And then it still goes as a revolving account, which counts for 35% of your credit. So that is the account that he's talking about, something like a CD account, a loan from a bank loan or something of that nature, not a car, not a house, but like a bank loan, a revolving account, and then add that with your credit card account. And you can start off with a secured credit card first. You don't have to want to apply for one. If you can't apply for one, go get a secured credit card and treat it just as you would a unsecured credit card. And you use those two things to leverage your account to get your account up. And I did that with those two things, just that alone, boost my score of 80 points in like 6 months. Right before the pandemic.
That's a great thing, man. So many people don't understand that, with the secure card. We actually have a secure card through First Progress that is guaranteed approval through First Progress Bank. And it's guaranteed approval. You just leverage whatever money you can put towards it. Most people put $250 to $300, like you said, they put it into a CD account. And you can leverage that. And then once you build your credit up, you can actually take that money back and they'll give you unsecured money. So that's a great strategy. Another good strategy is opening up a credit union account. You want to open up credit union accounts with Navy Federal, America First. Navy Federal is number one. They're worth over $12 billion. Yes. Way over 12 billion. And they're nationwide, and they're very courteous when it comes to giving lines of credit, and also auto loans, home loans. They have very, very aggressive rates, and they aggressively fund. So, you want to make sure that you have an account with Navy Federal. If you don't, you want to reach out to a family member that has that's been in the military. Tell them, hey, look, I need your access code. Get you a Navy Federal account, and definitely put money into that account. Don't put it gradually into the account. Show them that you have a history, and build your BR. It's called bank rating. So you want to build your BR. You don't want to go negative. So many people they don't put enough money into the bank. They don't like showing their money. Put the money into the bank and then set up your credit cards on auto pay. What this is going to do, this is going to make sure your bills are paid on time. It's going to force you to really go out there and work a little bit harder, because you're going to see that money coming out, but it's going to be going into the right thing. So those are some tips.
And I promise you, and I promise you this. I promise y'all, promise. Once you start being more money conscious, those going out to eat and spending $50, $60, $70 for a meal, going and buying a lot of things. You're going to start actually your mind. And I did this yesterday. I went out with my sister and I was like, let's go out to eat. Let's just go somewhere. I'm hungry. We ended up going somewhere and just the two of us alone, we spent $100 on the bill. I'm sitting there looking at the bill and I'm like, here. But consciously, it was like, this is stupid. You get ready to, you ate that food and it's just gonna come right out. So there goes your money, just right out down the toilet. There goes your money. And your brain will start kind of calling you out and being your own accountability partner. So starting off with accountability partner is perfect. But I promise you, it's a practice run because eventually your brain is going to start catching you. The more self-aware you get and the closer to being more self-aware you are, your brain is going to start calling you out. I got called out so bad yesterday in my mind. It's like, you're so stupid. Now that was just dumb. Was that food, that important? Like that was a liability. That was a whole liability meal. And it wasn't even a business meal. You know what I'm saying? That would have been a good write-off. You know what I mean? But it wasn't even a write-off. It was just, let's go eating. And that's where we ended up eating. And I'm like, you know what? I could have actually took that $50 for half that bill, went to the store, grabbed me some food, came home and made me a healthy, nutritious, fresh meal. But I know the experience of enjoying my sister and everything while we're out. Yeah, we get that. But let's go eat at home and then we can go to the park and we can go chill together.
Yeah, you guys could have cooked. You could have cooked at home, but sometimes you want to treat yourself every now and then. If you had a long week, we're so conditioned to just going out, right? Anytime we're hungry, our first thought is like, what am I going to eat? Oh, I don't feel like cooking. Let me go out, right? Then it's a gathering, it's a meeting. So since we were young, we were taught, okay, let's gather and then let's eat, right? So it's just normal, like it's habitual. So there's nothing wrong with that. I was one of the people that, I cook, I buy my food during the week. I'm on a strict budget, not because I can't do certain things. It's just I want to be able to purchase more assets, buy more land, buy more homes. Also, I have other projects that I'm working on. So those operating costs is huge. So many people, they rather buy designer than invest into their business. They rather buy a liability than invest into their business. And your business is essentially an asset if you leverage your business correctly, you leverage your credit right. Your business is a huge asset. The banks will start calling you like, hey, you know what? I'll give you 500. I'll give you $1 million. And it's up to you, but you have to be smart with your credit. And, I preach debt-free community, but there's good debt and there's bad debt, right? So good debt would be something that you're taking out from the bank. Let's say you get a loan that's $10,000, right? The interest, being that you have good credit, is 5%. You then leverage this $10,000 and put it into an investment that's going to yield you back 25%, right? Now you have the money. You could go pay that loan back, the 10,000 back, and you just made a 15% profit. That's $1,500 free money, just off of having the proper strategy. And you developed a stronger relationship with the bank, so now they're willing to lend you more money. So it's different strategies that you could utilize to gain a cash flow, and definitely invest into your business. That should be number one. If you really believe and you truly passionate about what you do in your business, go all in. So many people, they want to do too many things. You can't be this, that, and that. Now you're spreading yourself so thin. So you're over here, and you can't really hit that direct target. So whatever your business is, stick to that and really beat it into submission. What I mean by that is not physically, but you're studying your business. You're finding out the market trends. Your demographic, your customer, and you're over delivering on your customer service. And that's how you're able to have a successful business.
That is a key point right there. You actually have several that I wanted to hit on, right? But that one right there was the main one. Man, like man, just for real, like one, leverage your business, right? But I can't even stress enough. It just really gets down to your choices, how you make your choices, and making sure. And I want to go into that, but I don't. I'm like holding back because I noticed we're like down to like 5 minutes left, and I want to wrap. Make sure we're out of here on time. So I don't even. It's like a whole other conversation, but I love to get into that. But definitely make sure you're leveraging your business. Your business can bring so much to you. You have money coming to you. You would have banks calling you to ask you to please take this money. They're in the business to give out money. You just got to put yourself in the position to receive money. And then the banks will be calling you to give you money, because once basically your report is telling them that you know how to deal with money. You know the money game. You know how much money to spend, how much money not to spend. You know how to move your money. Definitely other key point, live below your means. Quit living and extending yourself to look flashy around everybody else. Everybody else is not the bank. Everybody else is not going to give you no money. Everybody else don't care about what you look like. And if it's all about talking to you and it's a talking point, look, I tell people all the time, I'd rather see you to go buy some replica than go buy the real, because the money that you saved from spending $200 on the purse, then spending $3,000 on the purse, take those couple of thousand extra dollars that you spent, the other $2,800, take that $2,800 and go put it in stock. Take that $2,800 and go put it in a high yield interest bank account like Marcus Sachs, Fifth Avenue, Marcus Sachs, Goldman Sachs.
Goldman Sachs, yeah.
Goldman Sachs, Marcus with them. Go to Synchrony Bank. You have another one, Chrome. I can't think of the name of it right off the top. There's multiple banks. Capital One just opened up a bank like Navy Federal. They have their high yield interest accounts. They are very good at, moving that money for you. They're not technically a credit union, but they function as a credit union. You can get into Capital One if you can't get into Navy Federal. Navy Federal, if you just know somebody who has a Navy Federal, they can get you in with that. Like he said, the access code, because we all have access codes that you have that's attached to your account. Just make sure, if you're doing that for anybody, that they're going to be mindful with their account, because it can reflect on you as well as far as your reputation with the bank. So don't just go get everybody into the bank, because if they mess up, it's going to be a reflection on you. Keep mindful. Everything that you do and everything that you touch and you think about, your choices you make is your brand. And just like my brand, Blank Tag, I have my own bank account and my personal and business with Navy Federal. So they're amazingly great. But Capital One is another one that I want to add another bank to, only because you want to put multiple banks in your repertoire, to your tool belt, because then you can leverage them against each other. So there's multiple things that you could do when
That's
you.
A key point. A lot of people.
I don't want to get into that though, man. We got like 3 minutes, but we definitely gonna have to bring this back, because I want to make sure you let everybody know where they can find you at, your platform. Give them that spiel and lead them to you, because they need you.
Absolutely. So once again, my name is Maine Simon. You can follow me everywhere at Maine Simon. Also, you can go to mainsimon.com. I'm available there. You can shoot me an email. I'll give you a free detail analysis and just help. I just want to help people and go out and serve. So thank you so much, Desiree, and also Guy. I appreciate you guys for having me on here.
Thank you so much for coming and being on here. I can't wait to bring you back, because we can go on, and definitely I would always mix mindset with the knowledge, the information, and inspiration. I want to inspire you to go out there and get more into yourself, learning yourself, and I want you to get the information that you need to also be successful. Like everybody that I bring on here as a guest, they're going to bring you some information, bring you some knowledge and some nuggets. You can always catch me at _tag_ on Facebook or Instagram. I also have a personal page, Desiree Passionate One Williams. You can email me at DesireeWilliams@blanktag.org. So shoot me some emails. You can hit my website, www.blanktag.shop. It's going under construction because I really need to revamp it and update it. I haven't done that in a little while, which is another thing you got to stay consistent on. Since I'm doing it myself, I got to mind myself to do that. And you got your phone, so make sure that you already got your assistant. Just put it on your calendar. Remind yourself of all the things that you need to do to be successful. We're going to see you again next Saturday, again at 8 a.m. with our next guest. Look for our information. Look back for Maine, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.